was theoretically possible to reach the coast, but it was also very difficult to achieve that result.
Simulator pilots had one big advantage over the crew of Flight 1153. They weren't in a life-or-death situation, and they knew they had to glide.
Fuel supply, check.
But Captain Garby didn't know he was out of fuel, and didn't think he'd need to glide to Palermo. He focused on restarting his engines instead. Feathering the props isn't part of that procedure. If Garby knew he was out of fuel, he might have acted to maximize his glide instead. Once he realized that his engines wouldn't start, his focus was on trying to find a place to ditch the plane. Captain Garby also had to contend with a lack of instruments, as well as radio interruptions.
What is your fuel load?
Cockpit fuel quantity, 1,800 kilograms.
Most importantly, Captain Garby had the lives of his 34 passengers to consider.
Of course, it's much easier to cope with that kind of situation on the simulator, because if you do wrong, if you crash the aircraft, you have the magic button, right, reset, everything is okay again. And that's very different in the real life with passengers behind and when it's your life.
Your distance is now 20 miles.
We're not going to make it.
The simulation highlights the importance of proper training to deal with unlikely situations, such as a twin-engine flameout.
In aviation, it's a very rare event.
Vincenzo Panetta's report urges airlines to train their pilots how to ditch without engine power. Better pilot training is just one of 17 safety recommendations in the accident report. Perhaps the most important, that ATR redesigned the fuel quantity indicator.
In order to prevent a fuel quantity indicator type 42 on a 72 aircraft and vice versa.
To prevent mechanics from installing the incorrect part, Panetta believes that the only answer is to design the FQI so that they only fit on the plane they're meant for. 9 men face charges of criminal negligence for the downing of Flight 1153, including the Tuninter mechanic who installed the wrong FQI, and Captain Garby.
I'll get it to you when you get back from Jerba.
Roger that.
There is no single cause of the accident. This accident, like many other aircraft accidents, was determined by a series of action, a series of events linked one to each other.
È inaudita una cosa del genere.
This is unheard of.
Avrei accettato di più se si fosse rotto un motore.
I would have accepted the engine breaking or a window shattering, but to have people die because of a lack of fuel?
Perché manca di carburante su un aereo.
Attempt to restart the engine.
The crash of Flight 1153 was caused by a series of grave errors on the ground and in the air. But the flight data recorder does show that the crew's last move before hitting the water was absolutely perfect.
Here we go.
According to the available evidences, the flight data recorder and also some statements released by the crew that survived, the aircraft touched the sea first with the rear part of the aircraft at an altitude which is compatible with the optimum pitch altitude of the aircraft, which is 9 degrees.
Captain Garby raised the plane's nose up to 9 degrees at the last possible moment. So instead of plowing into the sea, his plane glided along the surface of the water. The maneuver likely saved lives by allowing more passengers to escape the ruined aircraft. His flying may have prevented this accident from becoming an even greater tragedy.